Shalom. Call halal Yahweh Shalom Shai Bahashim Rakar Pradash. The honors unto the apostles and the elders. Salutations to the Akim that are doing this work in truth and sincerity. The confusion of face Akim. They go on the highways and byways as the Bible instructs and do the work of the Lord in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so. The hopeful elect, the Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. This is a video where an interviewer is interviewing a political analyst about an ambassador to UN questions Palestinians' right of return. And this chick right here, Nikki Haley, who I don't know if she's a Israeli Jew or, you know, Jewish. Remember, the suffix ish means to be like. Or if she's just, you know, one of these diehard Christians who support the false ideology that the people in the land of Israel are the people of the Lord, when in fact they are not. They are not. And that's actually an easy thing to prove. Them trying to say that they are is just like trying to put a circle into a square peg. All right? They don't match up to any of the prophecies at all. All right? But there's this argument going on about if the Palestinians have a right to return to their land. And the truth of the matter is, neither of those people live there. And the scriptures are from there or belong there. That's what I meant to say. The prophecy in Joel clearly tells you that the land was parted. All right? And the real people, the Lord, was sold into slavery. That's in Joel, the 3rd chapter. Which is also, and that's where everything began. That's where everything is going to end. The Lord is also going to recompense the nations starting there. And evidence of that is what's going on in Syria. Syria is going to bleed over into Israel, and basically the whole world is going to be drawn into that. But let's go to the book of Genesis, the 10th chapter. All right, and this is as referring to the Philistines, to which is what Palestinian means. All right, that's when you look that word up. It goes back to the Philistines, and the Philistines were what you refer to as Africans today. Those Hamites. All right. That was a province of Canaan. Those were Canaanites. And Canaanites are what you refer to as Africans today. All right? And as a matter of fact, let's get that out of the Zondervan's, not the Zondervan's, but the Young's Dictionary Bible. Okay? So let's go to the definition of Ham. All right? Then we're going to read in the 10th, out of the 10th chapter of the book of Genesis. But let's go to the definition of Ham. And it reads... And this is the Zondervan's, the Young's Bible Dictionary on page 255, and it reads, Ham, a son of Noah, father of Cush, Egypt put in Canaan. See further on each four of these, while they all may have been dark-skinned, they were not the forefathers of the Negroid races, but rather the people associated with Egypt in the north continent of Africa. The Egyptians thought of Canaan as one of their provinces in the very late times. So yeah, not only the north continent of Africa, but all of Africa. Okay, those are what you refer to as the Hamites. Okay, there wasn't two different races of people in that land outside of the fact. I mean, as far as the Hamites were concerned. All right, in the land of Ham. Until Jacob went in there and supplanted and took it, because it was promised to him, you know, by the Most High. Yahweh promised them that land. Okay, so let's go into the Bible. This is Genesis, the 10th chapter and the 6th verse, and it says, "The son of Ham, Cush, Mizraim, put in Canaan." The same four we just read about, which told you they were all dark skinned. They were dark. All right, like Kedar. Okay, jump into verse 14. It says, Parusium, Cassalim, out of whom came Philistium and Caphtorim. All right. So these are, and this came out, and they came out of Mizraim. All right. It says, and Mizraim begot Ludum and Anam and Lebim and Nephatuhim. Right, and then verse 14. And Pathrusim and Cassalim out of whom came Philistia, which is Philistia. When you look it up, that's the Philistines, which is what the word Palestine goes back to, the Philistines. The Philistines were Hamitic, Hamites, what you refer to as Africans today. Okay, they were Hamitic, a dark race of people, but not the Negroes. It told you the Negroes were a different dark race of people. That's been that convenient lie that Esau has been pushing for centuries now, that Negroes are Hamitic. Okay, so let's play a little bit of this video. Now that we have that understanding, because you know there's a lot of new people that watch. So now that we have that understanding about who the Palestinians really are, because the Palestinians that are the people referring to themselves as Palestine, Palestinian today, are Ishmael. They are sons of Ishmael, Ishmaelites, what you call Arabs in some cases.
Calgary, for more on the story, is Mr. Robert Ilakesh, political analyst. Hello, Robert. It's a pleasure to have you back on the program. Now, my first question to you, Nikki Haley says the matter should be looked at in the same way as Syrian and Venezuelan refugees. Robert, I mean, Syrians have a country. It's called Syria. It's recognized. You know, so do Venezuelans. It's really not a good analogy. And any analogy we've heard Nikki Haley use in the past does very little to really address what the Palestinians are going through, or their situation, or their statelessness under international law.
Well, they've been made non-people by the United States. And
they have been made a non-people. But the Lord, the apple of the Lord's eye has been made a non-people. The hidden ones. All right? They are not known in the streets. The Israelites are not known in the streets. They're not going to be referred to as Israelites by the mainstream, because the mainstream has appointed who they want to be referred to as Israelites because it fits their narrative. All right? Problem is, though, that the prophecies and the relics say otherwise. All right? Because in Lamentation, it clearly tells you that another people, well, I wasn't even looking for this, but I'll read it anyway since I'm here. It says, this is Lamentations 4:8. And it reads, and this is referring to the physical appearance of the Jews. All right? And we just read the Zondervan's dictionary breakdown of the Hamitic people in the Bible. And they said, but not the Negroes, a different dark race. All right? So you got Hamitic people that were dark. As a matter of fact, Ishmael was dark too. All the nations were dark back then except Esau, Edom. All right? When you're looking at the man, Calgary there on the screen, his skin complexion is the result of Esau's rape, robbery, and murder, his dominance over the planet. All right? And every nation that he took over with, he lightened a lot of them up. All right? Because the Chinese were all dark, the Japanese were all dark, so-called. All right? They were all dark people. But here we go. This is Lamentations 4:8. And it reads, their visage is blacker than a coal. They are not known in the streets. Their skin cleaveth to their bones. It withereth. It's become like a stick. So that word visage means their appearance. Their appearance is darker than a coal. They were really, really dark complected people for the most part. The Israelites were. All right. This is Lamentations 5:2. Our inheritance is turned to strangers, our houses to aliens. Plural. It didn't say alien. It said aliens, many. All right. There's been many people in there. Even when you go back to the time of Samaria, you had a bunch of Hamitic people and different people in there. Now you come into the latter days, and now you have the Israelis who are Edomites, and the Palestinians who are mostly Ishmaelites. Okay. Now among those aliens there are some real scattered Israelites among them. But the bulk and the majority of those people are heathens. All right? So let's fast forward a little
Don't
bit.
have a right to return. Is that correct?
Well, that's what they're trying to say. They tried to say that according to our books that Ashkenazi white European Jews believe in, we have determined that our ancestors may have lived in the land that is called Palestine thousands of years ago. They say 3,000 years ago, and we have the right because we were refugees the entire time and we weren't able to find a homeland. So these white European Jews and Jews of Middle Eastern descent from all over the Middle East and all over the world really can claim the right to Israeli citizenship, live in the land of Palestine because of some claim, some religious claim that they have that somehow ties them to this land thousands of years ago. But Palestinians which have been expelled.
And mind you, their very name is deception, because Ashkenaz was a son of Japhet. In order to be an Israelite, you had to be a son of Shem. So their very name is false. But they did that purposely to mislead you. That's why some people believe that they're Japhetic, and they're not. They're lying about that too. They're not Ashkenaz. They're actually the Shemitic Semites, as they would say, sons of Shem. But their line goes to Edom, not Jacob. So quite frankly, they're Hebrew Edomites. That's what they are. Hebrew Edomites.
For the last 70 years, they don't have that same right that people who are not actually connected to that land, who have absolutely zero connection to the land, and claim a connection to a land where they even claim a genetic connection to the land, where even according to their holy books, they're supposed to come out of Egypt, not out of Palestine. They have no archaeological evidence to support that they were in fact there. Their ancestors from Europe were there. But somehow the Palestinians who we know have...
And he just told the truth on that part, okay? Because I think he was trying to quote the prophecy of Deuteronomy 28 and 68, which y'all read. All right? But there is no evidence in relics, because when you dig up all the relics, all you find are dark people that clearly weren't them. Okay? And they don't belong there. All right? There's no evidence. I ask this question every month. All right? I ask for the Israeli Jewish people to produce the relics when they were on ships, naked and in chains, and being shipped around the world. All right? With yokes of irons around their necks, shackles on their ankles and hands, and being shipped around the world on cargo slave ships. When you do your research, you find out that their forefathers actually owned the ships. Okay, so let's just read 2 quick scriptures and be done with this. All right. This is scripture that they try to often come against, and they try to change. But when you read it, when you actually read it in the Paleo Hebrew, not in the Yiddish influenced Hebrew that they use now, that was created in the 1800s by Rabbi Eliezer ben Yehudi, which is modern day Hebrew is Yiddish influence, corrupted. All right. The definition in the dictionary that I paid, less than $30 for used, they now want $700 for that book. All right, but that's the Winston Simplified Dictionary Encyclopedia Edition, 1933. All right, they want $700 for that book now. An old beat up dictionary that you could have bought in from a used store, ordered online for like $15 to $20. All right, because it exposes their lies. It makes what I'm saying true, and what they're saying is false. Their language is written in Hebrew characters, but they're not speaking pure Hebrew. They're speaking Slavic and German language mixed with Hebrew characters. That's the breakdown of the language that they speak. Okay? And so you had that one idiot try to read this scripture, quoting it from the JPS, which is that corrupted Hebrew. He was actually quoting it in English, because when you read it in the Hebrew, it read as it was supposed to. But this is Deuteronomy 28:68, and it says, Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again. The word Egypt is synonymous with the word slavery and bondage. So you would go into bondage again with ships. By the way, I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. The it is Israel. The Israelites will never see Israel again collectively as a people, as all 12 tribes. Not until the Lord came back and put them there. All right? Not because of the Balfour Declaration. All right? Thou shalt see it no more again, and there you shall be sold unto your enemies. Not sell yourselves, as they try to say. So when have you ever seen a group of people say, you know, we've really done wrong. You know what? We just should like strip ourselves naked, put ourselves in chains, and jump on ships and just sail around the world until we find people to buy us and sell ourselves into slavery. That is madness. It's utter madness. All right? To even fix your lips to say something so stupid and ludicrous. All right? But it says, thou shalt see it no more again, and there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen, that's a slave man, and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. All right? And buy means to redeem. Not buy as in purchase something from a store. All right? The word buy meant to redeem. That's what it means when you look the word up. All right? Buy it back, to redeem you. No one's going to save you from this slavery. You're going to go into slavery and go on the bottom, and you're going to stay there until the Lord comes back for you. That is the condition of the Israelites. They will be picked on and made fun of in every society that they're in. That is not the case with them today. They live in some of the most prestigious places. They have their own military. They own companies and corporations, most of the banks. All right? They have their own land. Everything that the Bible said the Israelites would not have. They will be broke, poor, and in the ghettos and have nothing and be made fun of and called by bywords. Every name except for who they are. That's why Hosea 1:10 reads the way that it says. Roughly paraphrased. And, you know, you're going to be in the land where you know what, I'm just going to get it. And it reads, Hosea 1:10, it says, yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, you are the sons of the living power. All right? There it is. Okay? Last scripture is in the book of Ezekiel, proving that the Bible gave you the prophecy that the land of Israel would be that the Edomites would prescribe it into their own hands and say that they're the people of the Lord. This is Ezekiel 35:5. Thus saith Yahweh power, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen and against all Idumea. Meaning they purposely put Idumea in the Bible when they printed it, when it originally said Edom. All right? That's Idumea is the Greek way of saying Edom. So they were trying to hide that Edom. Why? Because it was like, wait a minute. If somebody appointed themselves in the land of Israel, who's there today? That's why they did that, man. These damn devils are slick. All right? It says, which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their hearts and despiteful minds to cast it out for a prey. Okay? So the land of Israel they appointed the land of Israel, Edom. The Edomites appointed the land of Israel into their own possession, fulfilling prophecy. These Ashkenazi Jewish people who are actually the sons of Edom, all right, 1925 Jewish Encyclopedia on page 41 clearly states that modern day Jewry is Rome, and Rome was Edom. Call halal Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai Ba'Hashem Rakak Wadash Wa Abba Babal.